Well, this is where they fired the tear gas not long ago. A number of rounds were fired indiscriminately at the thousands of protesters who were gathering at the starting point of today's anti-government rally, which is in Causeway Bay. It's a very, very busy high-end retail sector. So we had families, we had onlookers, we had shoppers who were amongst the crowd who got hit by tear gas. Now, it all started when a few protesters were throwing things at the police, and the police van tried to move through this crowd. And as a result, the police turned around and reciprocated, and they made a number of arrests. They charged those protesters with batons and fired or used pepper spray, and that's when the tear gas was used also to disperse the crowd. Now, the thousands of protesters have run in all directions. They've fled towards Victoria Park and also back to government headquarters, which is where they were planning to end today's or Sunday's rally. Now, I should state that this particular march, it didn't get permission. The organisers didn't seek permission from the police, and as a result, the police considered it an unlawful assembly. But this is the first time we've seen these riot police move in at the start of the march. So clearly it's a different tactic where they wanted to stop this march going ahead altogether.
And of course the pressure is building as the territory gears up to October the 1st. Of course, that significant day for the mainland as well. Also an indication today of how polarised the territory is, given that earlier you were reporting on a demonstration in support of the Beijing authorities.
Yes, the intensity of these demonstrations is getting, or escalating, I should say. And all I can say is that the police firing the round of tear gas so early in the day at the start of the rally appears to have only aggravated these protesters, who are now regrouping behind me, as well as along this main road where they've blockaded this. The traffic's been stopped. But certainly if the police were hoping to disperse the crowd and end this rally, it hasn't worked.
Right, and what do we think, what can we expect then for the rest of the day, Sarah, given that we've seen such vast numbers of people turning out every week now for about 17 weeks consecutively?
Well, I'm not sure if you can hear the chanting behind me, but certainly the fact that they're regrouping and looking to go ahead with this march, which the march will end at government headquarters, which is where it ended last night, where we saw, as well, we saw tear gas fired on the protesters later at night, around 7 p.m. last night. These protesters look like they're going to go ahead with this march anyway. And as you mentioned, we've got October 1st, which is Tuesday. That's a public holiday here. And of course, it's the celebration by the pro-China groups of the 70th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China. And the police have been preparing for this. They're preparing for confrontations between the pro-Beijing and the anti-government protesters, the two different camps. But we're already seeing confrontations today, but it's between the police and the protesters. And of course, these protesters are accusing the police of escalating abuse towards them. And we expect that to continue as well.
All right, Sarah, for now, thank you. Sarah Clarke there, our correspondent live in Hong Kong.